Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with me today my very good friend, Spencer Lee, CEO of Telin. Spencer, thank you for joining me today.
Nice chatting with you, Doug. As always, how are things?
Well, it's the season to think about your business. If you're a partner, if you're a channel, if you're an MSP, that's what our podcast is going to be about. Telin's been working to make that much better experience, to provide products and solutions that are sticky, that are delivered fast. They have an app store, are developing that app store, have new apps coming out, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, Spencer, before we get into all that, first of all, what is Telin?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So I'll give you a little background. So Telin's been in business since 1991, started in Canada, expanded in the US, and now into Australia. Telin is focused on the channel and delivering to our partners best in breed solutions that provides in the vein of unified communications, giving them the best tools possible to deliver the best end customer service and making them the most competitive in the market. So we're always looking for ways to improve our core infrastructure, improve what add-on products or services, hardware, whether that be billing and compliance, whether that be software components, but ultimately building out a solution that provides the best end customer experience possible to make our partner base as competitive as possible.
So you were telling me in the run up to our podcast today that in developing the app store and developing the actual apps, you're talking to your resellers, and the resellers have, as no big surprise, everybody does, customer retention is always a challenge.
Yeah, so we spent a long time both speaking with our partner base as well as our own internal data, trying to understand what goes into, or what are the main key components to customer churn, and trying to preemptively solve those problems, because effectively we've got 1,000 resellers on our network, and we have a good lens to look at in terms of what if one partner is losing maybe one or two end customers, we've got a broader scope to look at what are those reasons why. So we did a lot of that research, and what we came up with is it was kind of the number one reason why end customers leave is it's not really a quality of service. It's generally not pricing. It's a competitive product will come out that's ultimately solving a different problem for that end customer that the partner just couldn't do. Whether that be an integration into their internal systems, their CRMs, their your ERPs, their EHRs, EMRs, whatever that may be, whatever computer technology that they're using, whether that be an integration into that they just didn't have, whether that they needed more call analytics insights, whether they needed a bolt-on tool, whatever that solution is, someone else came in, they already had something pre-configured, and that was primarily the reason why most end customers were leaving the solution. And they left on good terms, saying, hey, if you have something that in the future, come back to us, we loved working with your company, but we just, from a business perspective, we needed to make this decision and this transition. And that sort of birthed the app store, where we were preemptively trying to solve this problem for our partner base of saying, okay, what we want to do is we want to bring complementary products, software solutions that were complementing the core service that they were providing. And I kind of mentioned a few of those, but that was the goal. And whether that be applications that we're building internally with our software development team, in partnership with our partners that are bringing these opportunities to us, or tapping some of the kind of best in breed software applications that already exist, because we don't necessarily want to build everything ourselves. If there's something out there that pre-exists, that has a good customer base, that's kind of been vetted in the market already, if you will, we'll go through the process of ensuring that it meets our standards, making sure that there's fair pricing, making sure that these companies are following our process and procedures. And then once that happens, we'll actually bring that into our app store as well. So our partners can feel comfortable, whatever they are attaching to their system, being 3CX, is backed by Telin.
Let's dive into this. What type of apps have you been rolling out?
Well, we've done a few integrations ourselves, kind of notably a couple good ones are Service Titan, Zenoti. We've got a few more we're working on right now. We've got a very, very good wallboard and call analytics software. We're bringing in a couple AI technology companies right now. So there's a lot that's going in. It's a newer. We've been doing this for about 6 months. But we're very excited. The goal is to have a very large, application store that any partner that's focusing on any vertical would be able to, derive some value from. There would be something in there that they could kind of make their solution better.
And you also talked about earlier in our podcast about speed. So my understanding is that the App Store helps people bring these solutions to the market really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So the partner themselves doesn't have to go out and build, or basically find a solution, test it, negotiate terms, negotiate pricing, negotiate terms. This has all been done for them. So when they've got, let's just use an example. Let's say there's a partner in California that has been really focused on the education space, but it's got a really good opportunity in automotive, but hasn't really done anything in automotive yet. They could come to us. We could give them insight into that, but then we could, give them, okay, here's the integration product that would service this customer the best. Here would be, again, I'm going to use this example, the wallboard and analytics software that would make sense for a reporting standpoint. And hey, you want to throw, possibly an AI tool on there as well, just to, in terms of, helping scheduling for the auto body shop. So we're from a speed perspective, they can have a matured product offering on day one versus a lot of trial and error that would normally go into diving into a new vertical.
You guys have always had this mission to sort of like streamline infrastructure and empower partners. So does this kind of go into that?
Exactly. That's 100% right. Like what we're really trying to do is empower the partners so that they can focus on one core thing, and that is delivering the support and installation services to their customers at the highest tier. They don't have to worry about all of the back end stuff. We handle that for them. We handle these relationships. We handle the core infrastructure, and then they can just worry about and focus on delivering the best end customer experience, which ultimately is a win-win for everyone. It's obviously the end customer is getting the best in breed product or offering. The partner is getting, a customer retention at a good price, at a good margin set for their business. And we're keeping, valued partners that ultimately have those sticky customers that, continue to purchase services through our ecosystem.
This is sort of conform to what you're seeing sort of as an overall trend in our market. You've got to go beyond UCaaS. You've got to utilize these tools and become stickier.
100%. And Doug, I think you're really hitting the nail on the head. Is partners that should really be, you should really be thinking from this perspective. If the way I'm kind of saying it is years ago, I think in our world, and like let's say the VoIP world, UCaaS world, it was a very much a price conversation of, hey, move your traditional PBX over to VoIP. We can save you X amount percentage per month on your bill. And that was a very winning formula. And not to say that's completely dead at this point, but I think the market's shifting to that trend is falling off a little bit. And what's really winning at this point is how integrated your systems can be and who's offering those integrations and emboldening the business itself. I think a way to think of that is I think what a lot of end customers are thinking about at this point, especially with the birth of or bring mainstream AI, is all of my data is valuable and it holds it holds value to my business. How do I extract value from that? And the technology companies and the UCaaS companies that are coming to the table saying, I can provide you a solution that's not just going to be a cost, but it's going to be able to derive value. However you structure that, are going to be the ones that win in the long run. And I think the big takeaway there is this is really good news, because from a partner's perspective, when you're basing your whole, when you're basing your go-to-market on pricing, unfortunately, over time, that pricing continually has to go down. In this shift, I think the goal here is partners should be able to find ways, if they can provide more intrinsic value to an end customer, they should be able to charge adequately for that product and service. So their bills theoretically should be able to go up because they're ultimately providing a more valuable product for the end customer. And it just becomes, a more invaluable tool and creates a stickier customer relationship.
Right. We use the word value so much often that sometimes we forget what that really means is the customer is valuing it.
Yes.
The customer can't live without it, right? Is ultimately, that's where you want to go.
100%. The customer is able to either increase productivity or reduce costs in some way or another. And as you said, they really can't live without. You're making their operations significantly better in either improving efficiency or reducing costs, or doing both. Whether, and that doesn't mean necessarily costs on the telephony side. That could be operational reductions because say they're utilizing different tools to streamline what how they're operating and getting a handle on their operating expenses. So I think there's multiple ways of looking at this, but my point is the partner should really be looking at how they can create a business infrastructure that integrates heavily into all aspects of that customer's current business infrastructure, and not just have a phone system, if you will, sitting on an island doing its own individual thing apart from everything else.
So Spencer, as we wrap up our podcast today, you mentioned third-party in passing, third-party integration. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so kind of mentioned that a little bit before, but we started this off by building these applications in-house. We have our in-house development team. We work with our current partner base. They bring an opportunity to us. We build it out for them, and then it goes into our app store. But then we kind of got to a point where we said, there is some really good mature products in the market that we don't necessarily want to replicate ourselves. We want to partner with, hold them to, the standards that we have at Telin. We have an agreement with them, it's basically a standardized one. And then we bring them into our app store so that our partners can, we're not having to go through that cycle of development when there's something out there that's better than anything that we could build, in a short period of time. So we really started reaching out to the marketplace, testing softwares, vetting them, if you will, so that our partners wouldn't, so that when they know that there's something in there, if it's third party, it's going to hold to our standard. We're going to support it. It's going to just become part of our ecosystem. So we're sort of looking at this from a two-path approach. We build some stuff ourselves, and we tap some of the industry experts that have been around for a while. But ultimately, the goal is emboldening that app store for the partner base.
And that just makes good sense, that when you, like you said, you've got a mature app, works great, people like it, why not just integrate it?
Exactly.
Well, Spencer, thank you very much indeed for joining me today. This is really interesting. We're going to be doing more podcasts on this. I have a feeling we've got a demo coming up. I'm going to look forward to that. But for now, where can we learn more about Telin and the Telin App Store?
So if you want to reach out to Telin and talk with one of our team members, just navigate to www.telin.com, TELIN.com. You'll find our contact information. You can get in touch with one of our account representatives in Canada, US, or Australia, and we would be happy to walk through, different applications that we have right now, different strategies for, any project that you may be working on.
Spencer, always a pleasure. Always interesting stuff. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the conversation.